And
Right.
he's like, "You ever seen Das Boot?"
Yeah,
And I'm
Das
like,
Boot.
is
We got to
it-
talk about Subnautica.
I've never seen it. That's why
It's a game. I know. I know.
Oh, it's a game.
It's a game. Yeah, I wanted to put this one.
In times of old, in times of new, there's a guide to follow to make it true. It's the pop culture field, and you will.
You know, when I was in high school, this one lady got a Porsche Cayenne for her birthday. Her father bought it for her, and I peed in the gas tank out of jealousy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. If I can't have it, no one can.
Yes. That was also underage drinking. Doesn't help.
Well, at least there was some alcohol content in the pee then.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's good, dude. I was a piece of shit back then. Okay, anyways.
Back
ready to
then.
begin? Back then. I'm a good person now.
You are a good person. Yeah.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just reading through your intro.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, this is your captain speaking. Prepare to dive, dive, dive.
Hello and welcome to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, sitting right at the intersection of weapons, the action, the military, and the pop culture. My name is Cameron Fath, and I'm super excited to be here because I wrote this episode.
I'm excited to talk about this episode. I'm looking at the list we've got, and I like all these movies. So
Yeah. Let's see if you folks listening in your cars can guess what we're talking about today. Imagine dozens of young, restless men crammed into a small, unair-conditioned contraption. No, this isn't Israel's Dream Last Night or Epstein's Island. This is what I assume life is like aboard a submarine. A job only designed for the sea-manliest of seamen. Although I would never want to sign up for this job, we here at the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast respect all fields within our beloved military. That's you, Navies. So today's episode is all about the movies that portray the Navy and the worst job ever. Submarines, baby!
Submarines, baby. Wow. I love the history that you. Can we go over some of the history of the
Oh,
submarine?
man, I honestly, most of my outline that I wrote here is submarine history.
It's crazy. You think about you look at the giant submarines that we have today, and it's the pinnacle of maritime technology, you know, and you think, well, that had to start somewhere,
Yeah.
and it didn't always
Oh, it
go
did.
well, you know.
It didn't go well. So submarines, it started way back when. Like, looking into the history of these things,
Yeah.
I mean, let's get off the bat. I think submarines are, I mean, before I did this, I thought they were stupid. I'm like, honestly, it's not a job I'd ever want to do. Just
I would
sitting
never wanna
for
be-
months on end inside of a crammed, tiny little boat with a bunch of men. Like, I mean, I've been crammed in time spaces with a bunch of men before, but this is for a long period of time.
A long,
Long, and I don't like the water.
yeah.
I think it's anticlimactic, and I'd rather, whatever. I understand the importance of it, because it is an extremely, someone's got to do it,
Right.
and
Someone's gotta blow up
respect
those
to those
ships.
folks. But actually looking in the history of submarines, super cool to where, just going off the beginning, submarines, the first military application, because, I mean, if you want to talk like history, this shit goes back all the way
Oh, like
to
non-military applications.
Yeah,
just
to
like
just
people
like-
trying to go under the water.
yeah, going under the water. This is like back to like empires.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I guess they use it on sea, like sea things. I was looking into like Alexander the Great had like contraptions that went under the surface
What?
that extended tubes out of the top of the ocean
Little
surface.
snorkel type devices.
Yeah, that were flamethrowers.
Wow.
That would spit fire at ships and sink them at sea and stuff. So there was like that example of submarine, but like the first like man, actual steered contraption came on September, at least for military application, was September 7th, 1776.
Wow.
And when the American-made, quote-unquote, turtle, the turtle was a one-man submarine that attempted to place time bombs on a British admiral's flagship, the Eagle, within the New York harbor.
I like how it says attempted. I'm guessing
It's failed
It
drastically.
failed.
Yeah,
right,
it failed.
okay.
But it was like the first, like, hey, we went under the water and we steered this contraption and were able to breathe. And almost, they tried it numerous other times, but it turned into a show. But like going down, you think that's like the first time. And then, in the South, the Confederacy had the H.L. Hunley, which could carry a crew of 8, and its weaponry was a
crew of 8
was a
racists.
spar torpedo that could attach a bomb to an enemy ship.
Nice.
And in 1864, the Hunley sank the USS Housatonic in Charleston Harbor,
Interesting.
but the submarine also sank on its way home.
So early submarine failures and victories.
And looking into that, that was actually like the picture of it was just this dark contraption, and you're like, no wonder it sank. This thing was made of steel.
I'm looking at early pictures and stuff. From
Yeah,
what you
they're
said,
ridiculous
like
looking.
1600s and 1500s.
Yeah.
And it's like this does not look like it would go. Well.
No. And the thing was, they actually just recovered. I say just, but like in the early 2000s, recovered the Hunley and its crew.
Wow.
And all of the remains were, I think, buried at Arlington.
Wow.
But yeah, fast forwarding through time, the real breakthrough and the birth of the modern submarine came courtesy of John Philip Holland. Towards the end of the 19th century, he became the first designer to successfully unite 3 pieces of technology: the electric motor, the electric battery, and the internal combustion engine to create the first recognizably modern submarine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because before there, it was all hand propellered.
Oh,
like there was
wow.
everybody, like in that Hunley, everybody had this, was
Bunch of dudes
hands on a
hand
crank.
cranking it.
Was on a hand crank.
brother.
Yeah, dude. Nightmare.
But bunch of hardy individuals.
Yeah, and
doing
it's
that.
if you look at the size of these things, it's like there's no way you could stand in it. It's like
Yeah.
you're legit just
crunched over for
just
days.
spinning this wheel,
Oh,
and you're like,
brother.
I hate my life, dude. But then so you got into the electric submarines, and then the next feat of science was the diesel submarines, and they were used in force during World War I and World War II. So Germany utilized their U-boats. So I've always wondered what a U-boat it was. I always thought it was a boat.
Oh.
But no, the U-boats are actually were the German submarines.
Name of this, yeah.
Yeah, because all the models started with the
Unterwasserboot.
Yeah, Unterwasserboot. And they were sinking merchant ships faster than they could replace it,
Yep.
hunting in 7 to 8 ship, quote-unquote, wolf packs in Atlantic waters. And, I found that was very interesting because when I watched Greyhound,
Yeah.
he was, like, talking to him over, like, the comms, and
Yeah.
the German was like, yeah, you could not escape the wolf. And I was like,
the wolf pack.
yeah, and I was like, what is he talking? Is that like the name of a ship? But then I realized, I was like, oh my God, they're actually like wolf packs. And then those were cool. Germany lost the Battle of the Atlantic, as we know, and they were forced to rethink and redesign their ships. So they added a snorkel to help conceal their ships from air assets, and to also utilize less power because the engine could breathe better.
Cool.
And on the other side of the spectrum, the Royal Navy's T-class had improvements as well, as it was the first to place fuel tanks on the inside, because one of the big problems in World War I and World War II was that the fuel would leak and leave a trail that could be
in
seen
the
on
water.
the surface of the water.
Little oil slick kind of thing.
Pretty much. So it was the first to incorporate inside of the hull fuel tanks, and they're also in an all-welded hull, which made them extremely strong, which could make them dive much deeper.
Cool.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as the most submarine, like the modern submarine of the time now, which is the nuclear sub, like that's the
one everybody recognizes.
Everybody recognizes as
Giant
far as
tube.
submarines, yeah. So in 1955, the USS Nautilus made the first nuclear-powered submarine patrol. Nuclear-powered subs allowed the ships to travel 500,000 miles and almost stay underwater, almost indefinitely, without refueling.
Underwater. Can you imagine being underwater for months?
No, dude.
I can't even fathom. Even
The ships
even
don't
days.
look that big to me. That's the thing. It's
Yeah.
like in all these movies that I watched, because I watched like 3 or 4 just about submarines, and I was like, they look big from the inside, but on the outside they don't.
No.
And I was like, there's no way.
No.
There's no way at all. But yeah, that's a little sub history for you, and we're not talking sandwiches here.
A little bit of side history, a sub paragraph, if you will.
Hey, dude, what do you think about submarines?
Dude, we're talking about like not being in them, but like they're super cool. I remember growing up watching all these movies and stuff. It seems like this deadly thing, like you can't see them. Even like with a ship, you could see it far off. Maybe you could spot it. It's hard to sneak up on it, But the idea of not, I don't like the ocean generally, and then the fact that there's there's a bunch of guys down there under the ocean with torpedoes and stuff. I think one of my favorite movies from back in the day is The Abyss, you know, and that starts off with a submarine crashing, you know, and just, I don't know, man, the water like crushing, and when they hit the side of that mountain and all the water rushes in and drowning.
That's terrifying,
man, that's
dude.
terrifying, dude.
Man, yeah, no, that's not for me. Not to mention there's no windows.
Yeah.
There's no windows.
Yeah,
You're like,
if you're claustrophobic, you're done.
yeah, you're done, dude.
Yeah.
It's not, everything's really small and compact, and
I always wondered, like, you remember Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah.
Like when they're on that ship and that German ship like is like searching the ship, they're searching for Indiana Jones, but he's not there. And then the guys look after the Germans are leaving, they look across to the German submarine, and he's like on the submarine and he's like running around. I'm like, how did he get? Did he get in? Did it have because once he opens the hatch and he gets in there, he's like right there. Like, wouldn't they just see him?
Yeah.
Was he just holding on the whole time? Did they
life.
not resurface or something?
yeah,
I don't
dude.
know.
I mean, in my head, like the thought of being on a ship and just like seeing a U-boat like surface right there, that's a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
And,
or you see the little, if you're on a ship and you see the trail of the torpedo coming your way, you're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna.
That, you know, let's just get right into it, because that thought makes me think Greyhound.
Yeah.
So even though Greyhound, so it's a 2020 film, you know, the basis is U.S. Navy Commander Ernest Krause, I think that's his name, maybe Cross, who's played by Tom Hanks, is assigned to lead an Allied convoy across the Atlantic during World War II.
It's so good.
His convoy, however, is pursued by German U-boats. Although this is Cross's first wartime mission, he finds himself embroiled in what could be known as the longest, largest, and most complex naval battle in history, the Battle of the Atlantic. So
They do such a good job.
it's a good job. They do a very good job.
I love it when they do a good job of portraying naval warfare, the thought process that goes into it, the decision making, the point, like the counter tactics that they use.
It's
back
so
and forth.
officer led.
Yeah,
It's
it really,
so
yeah, it really is.
Like the captain of that ship he's making the calls.
Yep. And
know?
the communication has to be so on point from everybody, because he has to use that information to make the decision.
It was so impressive. I mean, that movie, they did a good job. And
Yeah.
After watching
Super
all
good
these,
movie.
I always was like, if you're in the, I am guilty of a superior complex of always thinking, because I was a ranger, I was like, yeah, all the other branches, they're not combat MRS or whatever. But after watching this, like Greyhound, first of all, I have a deep respect for all World War II veterans, because they were the greatest generation. They did it better with less. So I have huge respect for those people, and just like seeing with the equipment they're using, and their communication in the movie was sound.
Yep.
Like every piece of everything was echoed all the time.
Yes.
And it was so precise, and they knew exactly what they were doing, as far they were masters of their equipment.
Yep.
Regardless of being, if they weren't special operations or not. They knew they were masters of what they were doing.
You talk about the saying, like, he runs a tight ship. Like, a ship has to be tightly run, because everybody, the decision that has to be made is dependent upon all the information getting there quickly and accurately, because he makes that decision and everybody reacts, and then whatever happens, and then they have to react off of that.
And I mean, just the whole, like you said, the naval warfare type, where it's like, you're turning directly into the torpedo head? Why? Just like...
Yeah.
In talking about another movie we're going to mention here, what is it, Hunt for Red October?
Yeah.
When he knows the arming distance of the torpedo and turns his submarine into the torpedo and hits it before it can arm.
Yeah.
And he's like, he will not do that mistake again.
Yeah, and then, how does it get out of it the second time? Because this guy's like, this one's armed automatically, or something. Oh, man. I forget. It's so cool how the maneuvers and stuff that they do.
It is, and there's no windows. You're like taking a chance just based on cardinal direction and like sonar. Like you hear a rudder coming from a specific direction.
Very dramatic. That's used to great effect in movies with submarines. It's the faster boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, the sonar was the most impressive. Like, even though the human communication aspect, I think the most crucial and important piece of equipment on like a vessel, especially a submarine, is the sonar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your eyes.
That's me. Yeah, your eyes and ears. It's your senses. Yep, exactly.
So I think that's like an extreme.
Everybody knows what it sounds like too. It's so recognizable. The bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, the ka-dung,
Yeah.
ka-dung.
Yep.
Dude, sonar's so cool. But yeah, Greyhound was awesome. Tom Hanks has played in his fair share of amazing World War II movies.
Yeah, he's a big World War II fan.
Yeah, I mean, Saving Private Ryan did an excellent job, and he portrayed this character great. I cried like a little bitch at the end.
So it's a really good. It kind of ranks up there. It's up there in those kind of really good World War II movies.
It was great. So yeah, I had to throw that on the list, even though he's commanding a warship. Like one of the destroyers, but the fact that he's being hunted by all these separate U-boats.
You cannot escape from the Wolf
Pack.
Pack.
You will all die.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn, what a shit talker. I was like, that guy's a shit talker.
He gets him that crowd.
Yeah, I get those crowds, and I like how they blow them up with like the little. They look like they just shoot off the sides of the
little
ship and
depth
then
charges and stuff. Yeah.
And they explode off the side, and they're like, "We got him! Your first kill, sir!"
Yep.
And he's just like. Yeah, we just took those guys' lives. You could see it deeply impacted him that he just killed somebody.
Yeah, they do a good job in that movie of making it like a marathon. Like he doesn't really ever get a break. Like he doesn't sleep all that much. His like shoes are wearing out. He never eats.
He puts on the slippers and his heels are bleeding by the end of it.
Yeah.
And like when they're on the way home, he finally goes to bed.
Yeah, he finally goes to bed. Yeah,
it's a good, that was an amazing movie. If you haven't seen Greyhound, do it. It's on Apple TV and it's free.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones to. Was that one of the ones that like kind of got caught by COVID? Like it was gonna have a theatrical release and then COVID hit. And
I think so.
Apple TV.
Yeah, Apple TV. No, I mean you just need it's like a $4.99 subscription.
Yeah, go. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Greyhound was awesome. They did a great job with that one. But let's talk about a little more submarine.
You want to go classic?
Yeah.
Let's do Hunt for Red October.
Okay, let's do it. 1990.
Based on the popular Tom Clancy novel, suspense movie tracks a Soviet submarine captain, Marco Ramius, played by Sean Connery, the most Scottish Russian.
Sean Connery!
I'm going to defect from the fatherland to
Sean Connery
America.
plays a
Scottish, yeah.
Plays a Spanish when he doesn't have an accent.
He abandons orders and heads for the east coast of the United States. So he's trying to defect, basically.
Yeah.
With Sam Neill at his helm as his right-hand man. Equipped with innovative stealth technology, Ramius' submarine, the Red October, is virtually invisible. However, when an American sub briefly detects the Russian presence, CIA agent Jack Ryan, played by Alec Baldwin, sets out to determine Ramius' motives. Yeah. Fearing that he may, Yeah, he's the one that kind of suspects. He's the one that first brings up the idea that he might be defecting, right?
I think so.
Doesn't he do like a bit of character work? And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
takes
no,
a
no.
wild guess.
Yeah.
He does.
He's got a hunch. And this one, Alec Baldwin he's not like a Jack Ryan. He's not like an experienced
He's not like a super
guy.
like spy type Jack. He's like a pencil pusher.
Yeah, he's just a CIA analyst.
Yeah, in the beginning, he like is analyzing the pictures of the sub, and he's like, "What are those doors?"
Yeah,
it's like, "What are those doors?" He's like, "Those are what the problem is, sir. We don't know what those doors are." And it turns out to be the rotor system. What was it? They called it the Lotus or the Butterfly or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Which
Caterpillar.
The Caterpillar. I was on the right.
Is that what
track.
makes him so hard to detect? Because he's quiet.
Yeah, because usually the sonar to detect another sub, they'll listen for rotor noise.
Yes.
So you'll hear like the, but that will take the Caterpillar system basically eliminates the rotor and is it, a jet propulsion or something?
It's I think they like ionize the water and then pushes it out the back. And so it just sounds like it
sounds like seismic activity, right?
Yeah, it sounds like ocean noises, basically.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't sound like a submarine.
That's cool.
The only reason how they even detect it is that one sonar, like very, very seasoned sonar, I want to call him a gunner.
I think it's just technician.
Sonar
technician. He like hears the noise and he's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Is that seismic activity?" Or he's like, "I think it's men singing," because the Russians. He like does the Sean Connery's the captain of the Russian ship, and he like gives his moto speech, and all the Russians start singing in Russian his song, and he's like, "What, sir? What about?" His like assistant captain is like, "Sir, what about the singing?" He's like, "Let them sing." And in the American sub, he's like, "Man, I think," he's like, "I don't know, sir, but it sounded like singing." And then he like honed in on the sound, and then it sounded like seismic activity, but then he fast forwarded it at 10 speed, and and you can hear like it's a man-made pattern. So it was like, "That's a ship." He's like, "That's a ship." So they start tracking it, and that's how they know they're going after the Red October, because it's possibly defecting towards the States. That's a good movie though, man.
Yeah, it's good. Where they get to meet and he comes on board. And there's one. There ends up being like a sailor that doesn't want to defect, right?
Yeah, he shoots
Sam Neill.
Yeah,
I would like to have seen Montana.
Yeah, he's like,
I remember that line.
He's like,
It's the cook.
The cook.
the
That's
cook.
right.
Yeah, he's like, "That's a cook."
Yeah.
And then
He's like a spy that was on the boat. Like he's not just a sailor that didn't want to defect.
A regular.
He's
Because
like a
most of the sailors don't know
KGB
that they're
guy?
going to defect.
That's right. Don't they kind of fool him? Because at the end, don't they they get them all to evacuate? Don't
Yeah,
they?
they get him off the boat onto lifeboats.
He's like, I'm going to scuttle the ship.
Yeah, and they're like, he's the captain. He's going to go down with the ship, so they all think he's a badass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
He's like, the captain is fighting the Americans.
I remember the part where they're on the ship, the Russian guys, and they see that
They
U.S. breach, and they're like, he's running away from,
Yeah, and he's like, did you rescue my men? And he's
Yeah.
like, yep. But yeah, Chris, you're right. It's like a KGB undercover guy that like shoots the what's his face,
Sam
Jurassic Park guy,
Yeah.
and
Dr. Grant.
Dr. Grant.
Yeah,
that's
shoots
right.
Dr. Grant, and then and Alec Baldwin goes after him. I forgot, did Sean Connery's? Because honestly, I kind of blared off at the end there because I was doing the dishes while I was watching this movie. And Sean Connery gets shot. Does he die?
He gets shot.
But he
He
does
doesn't
not
die, though.
He doesn't die because he's
Okay.
at the end and he's saying, "My grandfather used to take me fishing on a river just like this."
Yeah.
Oh, is he
They're
in the
like-
States?
Yeah, as they're like
Aren't they
sailing
in like
into,
Lake Michigan or something like that?
They're
Yeah, I mean-
sailing into like Hudson Bay or something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's like, I love the scene. He's like, he's like, I think I'll move to Montana and find a round American woman.
Yeah.
Did she say round?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like when it's at the end when he's trying to like
And raise
get
rabbits.
the cook, and they're in like the nuclear silos.
And they can't like shoot,
And he
right?
says, "Be careful where you shoot. The things in here don't react well to bullets."
Yeah.
And it's all the nuclear bombs. It's great.
That's awesome.
Great submarine movie. Great
Yeah.
submarine combat, like we were talking
It's
about
long
earlier.
though. It's like what, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah,
worth
it's a
it,
good
though.
one though.
Who
It definitely.
directed that?
I don't know.
I want to say it's John McTiernan, but I don't know.
John McTiernan.
Here.
I'm gonna look it up.
Well,
real
you look
quick.
it up. I'm gonna start talking about the next one.
Do it.
The
Look it
next
up.
movie that I ended up watching right after was Crimson Tide in 1995.
John McTiernan.
Yeah, with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington.
Hey, Crimson
Denzel.
Tide. Yes.
That was a very entertaining one, but that's one of your classic military movies that's just like, this is fucking stupid.
Oh, is it?
Like, some of the military things in there were just like, first of all, when they're getting on the bus and that really fat guy gets on the bus and he's just like a private, he's just like, what's up, man? And the officer is like, yeah, man, and you can refer to me as sir. Get down and do push-ups. And he's just like screaming at that guy, and he can't even do 5 push-ups because he's so fat.
yeah.
And I'm
Why
just
is this
like,
guy in the Navy?
Yeah, I was like, honestly, this guy, yeah, he's in the Navy.
Yep.
That's what I thought. I was like, yeah, this dude's so fat, he's definitely in the Navy.
Yeah.
But no, that was
Because he can float.
yeah, it's because he can float. Yeah, muscle sinks. But I think it was a funny movie. I think Denzel's a good actor.
Oh man, him and Gene Hackman. This is like two hot top tier actors.
Oh yeah, no, it was super
going
good.
back and forth, and like for those that don't know, the premise is like they're a nuclear submarine. They're out there, and there's like this political upheaval in this kind of Russian
Yeah, it's a
type
Russian
state.
rebels take control of like a nuclear launch facility.
Yeah.
And they're trying to crack the codes, and they're
They receive a transmission, but the transmission's incomplete, so they don't know if it means that they're going to attack or they're not going to attack,
Yeah.
and they have an opportunity to launch nuclear missiles themselves.
Yeah, to get them first.
But
yeah.
Denzel's like, no, we shouldn't do it. And Gene Hackman's like, no, we should.
Yeah,
And
Gene
they-
Hackman's the captain
go back
of the
and forth,
ship,
yeah.
and Denzel is his lieutenant
First mate,
commander.
yeah.
His basically his second in command.
Mm-hmm.
And Gene Hackman's all about like his background is like he led SEALs in Panama.
Yeah, he's like
and
a hard
He's a hard
charger,
charger, and
yeah. Mm-hmm.
he's like the experienced guy, and he receives this emergency order. And on the submarines, they make it a very big point to where one man can't. And they do this in Hunt for Red October too, where
Yeah.
the first, the
launch
captain and the
keys.
lieutenant commander, they both have the keys. That way, one man isn't given the power to just launch nuclear missiles. That way they can have conflicting opinions, and it stays there. So that's exactly what happens in Crimson Tide when they receive this transmission, and they're not. And Denzel Washington is like, I'm not sure this is right.
Yeah.
So we should ask questions.
Yeah.
And Gene Hackman, the captain of the ship, is like, we have orders. We follow orders. This is what we do.
Yeah, they both kind of have. You can see both sides.
Yeah.
Like they do a good job of like not making one a jerk and one a crazy
Yeah.
guy or whatever. Like they both have valid points that they want to make. So that's where the drama comes from. It's so
Exactly.
good,
And
man.
then so Denzel like basically does a mutiny and arrests Gene Hackman, the captain, and puts him under. And then basically Denzel takes control, but then they plan another mutiny with some of the other officers that think Gene Hackman character is right, and it's just like betrayal after betrayal after betrayal, and then finally they spoilers ahead, people. So, pretty much at the end of the movie, I said, spoilers ahead, people. At the end of the movie, Gene Hackman takes control of the boat, and then Denzel's character is put in the brig again, but he gets another party to rescue him, and then he's having this one guy, because the entire time, the reason why they can't confirm whether the transmission is correct because their radio equipment's down.
Yeah.
So Denzel's character's like, wait to fix the radios,
Right.
confirm that this is correct, and then launch. But Gene Hackman's like, no, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they fix the radio, get the rest of the transmission. Gene Hackman's character is wrong, and it pretty much says, do not shoot these guns. And Gene Hackman, like, at the end, they're being, like, court-martialed by, like, the panel of an admiral and everything, and they're just like, off the record, you both are fucking idiots. On the record, you guys prevented a big. Gene Hackman retires early.
Yeah, retires, yeah.
And then Denzel gets recommended for his next command of a sub. But, one thing about that movie is Gene Hackman's character, like, thinks he knows it all. Like, he does a big thing. Like, in the beginning, he has a Jack Russell, which, in my opinion, is the worst of all dog breeds. And he's like, Jack Russells are the smartest dog breed. And I was like, bullshit. So I sat there on Google, and I Googled top 10 smartest dog breeds, and Jack Russell wasn't even on, like, 6 lists. I was like, this dude's stupid.
Maybe that was the secret giveaway in the beginning of the movie, that you know that he's wrong.
Yeah. And there was a little bit like of a racial tension thing in there too.
Do they throw that in there?
Yeah,
it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Yeah, no, at the end he's like,
you're wrong because you're black.
I think, yeah, that's what it was. It was like he's talking about horses.
Oh.
And he's just like, this type of horse? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, they're born in, he's like, they're Portuguese and they're all white and they're the best horses. And then Denzel's like, actually, they're Spanish and I know they're all white, but they're born black. and then dude, I was just
like Wesley Snipes.
Yeah,
way to black.
I was just like, way to ruin a great movie, or way to ruin like a subpar awesome movie. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
with,
well,
like, some racial shit.
Because you instantly got it. You're instantly not going to root for the racist guy. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
Instantly, like, establish that guy as just a cocksucker.
Yeah. You want to lighten the mood a little bit?
Yeah, dude, do it.
Down Periscope. A lot of submarine movies in the 90s. I'm seeing here.
I'm surprised.
Maybe there was like a big PR push by the Navy or something.
I think so.
Yeah, Down Periscope comedy. Kelsey Grammer, Commander Tom Dodge, not very well thought of by his superiors. He goes to captain the old decrepit submarine. Do we know the name of it?
I know. I've never seen the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, you've never seen it? Oh,
No.
okay. We don't have to take too long. It's awesome, man. Basically, what they do is it's like this old decrepit submarine that's like almost decommissioned, and he gets this really like misfit crew. You know,
It's a Heartbreak Ridge.
yes, exactly. But they engage. They do these war games at the end, and he's got
It's
one.
a Heartbreak Ridge. Yeah.
It's the USS Stingray.
USS Stingray. There you go. And then there's this one admiral that's like his rival, who's like the head of all the nice, and they're basically just supposed to be out there just to be like target practice. But he's like, no, we're actually going to try to win. So they do all these cool maneuvers and stuff like that, and they do all this kind of like they're trapped, or they're going to be found out, or they're going to be seen or spotted. So they like surface at night, and they put all these lights up, and they all start singing like they're drunk, and the guys think that they're like a sailing ship,
Oh, yeah.
like a fishing ship,
like a party boat.
yeah, party boat. So they leave them alone. So it's really fun. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so we don't have to take too much time on it. But I think they get some good, like, legit. Well, you guys tell me in the comments section, or let me know on email if they get good or bad tactics. But I always love what I love in movies like this is when you can tell that they really thought about, like, you come up with clever ways of getting out of situations, and they do that in this one. Down Periscope.
Who would expect you to put lights on top of a submarine and act like it's some party boat?
Like, totally call attention to yourself and use the sonar. And,
literally.
But they have, and there's one guy, the sonar guy has like. There's something about him where he has like a really good hearing, like so he can.
Harlan Williams.
Harlan Williams, there you go. Yeah.
He makes his dolphin noises in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, to kind of throw him off the trail. Yeah, exactly. And he like moves around, so they think it's like a school of dolphins, and so it's really funny.
That's interesting. Yeah, I know. I mean, when I was looking, because I haven't seen it, I looked it up though on the Google machine, and what's his Dave Schneider.
Yeah, Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider's in it.
Dave. I don't know. I said Dave. Every time I try to remember Rob Schneider's name, I would just think of the South Park. Rob Schneider is a carrot. Every time, like, I don't know why I came up with Dave. But Rob Schneider's in it, and Chris, you were telling me earlier that he has your last name.
Yeah.
Yeah, not spelled the same, but it's my last name. He's Lieutenant Pascal.
Nice. Now everybody knows your full name, Chris.
Uh-oh.
Gotcha.
Doxed him.
Doxed.
Also, it has a very attractive Lauren Holly in it as the first woman assigned to a submarine.
Hey, all right.
Is she like a hard ass and has something to prove?
I mean, she has something to prove because she's the first woman assigned to a submarine, but she's not a hard ass, I don't think.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, good for her.
But it has a funny bit in it that I wanted to mention. The cook, they're trying to all be quiet, and he just cuts a loud ass fart.
Yeah, I was gonna say, of course.
And then one of the guys, you see him like shoving toilet paper up his nose, and he says, "Somebody ought to sew his asshole shut."
That's
Awesome.
good. That's a fun one.
Nice angle on the whole
the
submarine
series.
movie. Yeah,
I know. To
serious
make it
submarine
lighten
movie.
the mood a little bit, because I mean, this one was worth mentioning. It's a super long one, but it's like critically acclaimed. And
Yeah, I've never seen this one.
I've heard of it because my dad's German, and he's
Right.
like, "You ever seen Das Boot?"
Yeah,
And I'm
Das
like,
Boot.
yeah, so it's 1981. So a German submarine patrols the Atlantic Ocean during World War II, manned by a crew that must contend with tense conflicts and long stretches of confined boredom.
Sounds like
Wow.
a laugh riot.
Yeah. So while war correspondent Werner, played by Herbert Grönemeyer, observes day-to-day life aboard the U-boat, the grizzled captain Jürgen Prochnow struggles to maintain his own motivation as he attempts to keep the ship's morale up in the face of fierce battles, intense storms, and dwindling supplies. So I think what I've heard about this movie and what I know about this movie is it's about true life.
Yeah, like I'm sure it's very like it's a drama, right?
Yeah.
It's
like MTV, True Life, My
Yeah.
Submarine Journey.
I'm sure there's a lot of commentary about like, Wolfgang Peterson is the one who directed it. Okay. But I'm sure it's not like an action movie. It's just like
No.
about how they feel about things and their
Yeah.
the
movie's
maybe war or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the movie's 3.5 hours. I think it's just, if you guys seen this movie, go ahead and give us a good plot summary of what happens.
Yeah.
'cause
Is it worth seeing?
I don't have
see
3.5
somebody
hours to
grabbing
just
a girl's
waste.
boobs. I
Yeah,
see somebody
so-
partying or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looks, it's just like, what do you do when men are bored? And
Yeah.
on a submarine. That's what I think. This is like the closest portrayal of accuracy. It's like, what would we do on the ship? Like,
Right.
in Crimson Tide, to work out, Denzel's character literally just runs back and forth like a 25-foot stretch on
Right.
this submarine to exercise.
Yep.
And he's running on like this like metal walkway, which is loud as hell. And if I was a private or like tried to sleep on that thing and I just heard pounding footsteps for like 30 minutes, I'd be like, God, shut up.
For 1,000. Oh, Wolfgang Petersen's directed a bunch of stuff that I like. Enemy Mine, Outbreak, Air Force One, the new Poseidon. Never mind. Troy. That one was all right.
Oh, Troy.
Yeah. The Perfect Storm. That was
That
good.
is why no
That was a
one
good
would
one. Air Force One. Ooh, get off my plane. Ooh, I sound like Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Good for you.
So Das Boot, folks, let us know. Should we watch it? Should we not watch it? We just wanted to mention it.
Yeah. You got a suggestion?
Yeah. Have you seen Below?
No.
It's a 2002 movie directed by David Twohy. I wanted to watch this movie because there were two things about it that were interesting to me. David Twohy, who directed Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, that kind of stuff. I liked Pitch Black at the time I'd seen it, so, and then it was co-written by Darren Aronofsky. But it must have been like before he like became, like kind of the indie writer-director that he has become. But World War II, U.S. submarine. They get ordered to pick some people up from like a downed British spy plane. But the whole thing is like the crew has got like a secret, like something has happened, and they don't, like the people who come onto the boat from the British spy plane are like, what's going on here? And they won't like say anything about it. And then strange paranormal things start to happen. Like they start to hear voices, and then like the ship, the submarine will like start doing things that they're not
Tell it to do.
Yeah, commanding it to do,
It's like Ghost Ship, but submarine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then at the end you find out that like there was like their previous commander, they
Killed
say that
himself
there
and
was
the
like a
crew.
German ship that they had sunk, and then they had shot the German crew members, but it turns out that they had mistakenly, I think, like shot down or like they had torpedoed like an American ship or a British ship, and that in order to cover it up, the other crew killed the captain, the original captain, and then the first mate stepped up and became the captain. So it was like this thing where the ship was like not letting them leave. It turns around and brings them back to the scene of the crime, and then after that, the ship like sinks and they like get rescued by somebody else and stuff. So the movie is not all that good.
Is it a thriller? Is
It's
it
a thriller.
horror?
It's like
Okay,
a supernatural thriller.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, sounds like a horror movie.
But it's like, it's like guilt-ridden, like they're being haunted by their past kind of thing. But the way that it's executed is not very well done.
But how accurate is it as far as military structure and command and things like that?
It's pretty accurate. Like when they're calling out the commands, when they're doing all the stuff, and yeah, that's pretty accurate. And then it's accurate how they die. Like one dude like tries to escape, and like there's like a railing that's like damaged on top of the sub, and he like gets impaled by it, and he's just being drug along for the rest of it. Like.
So A+ for accuracy, F+ for everything else.
Yes,
F+.
yeah. I'd say it's a D. I'd say a C- D+ in terms
C-
of
C+.
execution.
Oh, perfect. I'll have to watch it. And that's what 2002.
2002. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
If you get around to it, good. If not, you're not missing much.
I love how you put right here. Saw this in college and thought it would be good. Period. I was wrong. Period. It was just okay. Period.
Those were my notes for the movie.
That's
Yep.
your notes. That's awesome. Well, I mean, because you mentioned The Abyss, and I know we've talked about The Abyss before with like that big, how the
kind of the inciting incident,
the inciting incident in the beginning, and then they have like this submarine like battle at the end, and that's where the Navy
that's
SEAL
like the
captain
submarine
died.
chase scene between two little subs with Michael
Yeah.
Biehn and Ed Harris and Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio.
Yeah.
And then she like makes him drown, like she drowns herself in order to get back because they only have one suit.
Oh yeah.
So cool, man.
So good.
So
and then here's one. This is an oldie.
Oh yeah, oldie but a good.
20,000
We had
League-
to.
Yeah.
We had to include this one.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm surprised. They've remade this one a couple.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yeah.
Have they?
They've had like elements of this movie in other movies, right?
You're
Like
thinking
Giant
of the
Squid.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Yes, I am thinking of
Oh,
League
League
of
of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Is that who is in it? Is Captain Nemo in it?
Captain
the,
Nemo's like the
big
leader
giant
of it,
boat
right?
and his
Oh,
submarine's all badass.
That's
Yeah.
right, Captain Nemo.
Yeah, that's like I think that's the newest thing.
Did
that
you
they've
see
had.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
I've started it. I haven't watched it.
It doesn't.
It's not very
it's not.
extraordinary.
Also
is
Sean
it?
Connery.
Also Sean
Yeah, I'm
Connery.
Sean
Also,
Connery.
not
Also,
very
you
good.
don't need to watch it.
Also,
Yeah, I
you
know.
don't need to watch it.
I remember Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde's in it, right?
Yep, Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, and they're trying to track him down.
It's like a giant monster.
Yeah, and then an even bigger monster comes
Yeah.
from that bad guy, and he gets the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because dude, it's basically the big thing is like, is it Moriarty who is the big bad guy?
Yeah, Moriarty's the bad guy, and then Dorian Gray's in it.
Yeah,
It's all these literary figures.
It's literary figures. Yeah, it's a
I like how
Tom
we just-
Sawyer who's like he's a secret agent for the U.S. now. He's
I like
a
how we're
CIA
talking
agent.
about League of Extraordinary Gentlemen instead of
There's a
20,000
submarine in
Leagues.
it.
There's a
There's
submarine.
in
There
it.
is a submarine
There
in
is a
it.
submarine in it. Okay.
It's awesome. It's like super awesome.
It's long, right? And he's like,
Much
who's the
like
Indian?
your
Isn't there an
definition of
Indian guy in it
breakfast,
too?
as long as there's a presence of a submarine,
That
it's a
is true.
submarine
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, I mean,
as
isn't
long-
there like an Indian guy in it who's got like this?
He's
what
like
is
a
it,
crack shot.
Either he's a crack shot, but he's got some crazy transportation thing too. Was it a train or is it an airplane?
I thought that was Captain Nemo.
Captain
What?
Nemo also has like a badass car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
car
but
is
he's an
crazy.
Indian. Is that who you're talking about?
No,
Isn't
Captain-
Captain Nemo an Indian?
God, I gotta Google
Captain
this
Nemo
now.
is, he's like an Indian.
Yeah.
He is an Indian in
I
it.
think that, or he's like Arabian or something.
I'm looking.
I don't know. You're asking me to recall memories that I'd rather not.
They have Mina Harker is in it, and she's a vampire.
Yeah.
Mina Harker from Dracula.
From Dracula. Tom Sawyer. Who is
Who is?
Alan Quartermain?
Quartermain.
Yeah, Alan
who's like
Quartermain.
a world-renowned hunter.
Yeah. The League of Extraordinary, not the League of Exotic Dancers. Sorry,
Sorry, that was a real
My Google-
womanly laugh.
I was gonna say,
Hear that?
is that the first thing that popped up when you typed in League of?
Yeah, League
Did
of.
you just expose your search history?
No. I tried to click a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Caught.
I don't remember that. Yeah, I remember it. The big thing was like they go to Venice, and the submarine is in the water in Venice is like hundreds of feet deep because they're driving the submarine
Yeah,
like
the
through
submarine
the
in the
canals.
canals was a big thing.
Yeah.
But so 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
20,000
Fantastic classic movie, 1954. Kirk Douglas, giant squid,
And the Nautilus.
Captain Nemo and the Nautilus. Like he's got this.
That's the ship's name, right?
That's the ship name's the Nautilus, and Captain Nemo. He's basically like Kirk Douglas and a couple other guys. I think they get like their ship torpedoed or wrecked by the
Aren't they
Nautilus, and they get
stuck?
taken aboard. Yeah, they're marooned at sea or whatever. And Captain Nemo's kind of like he's like waging like a one-man war against pretty much like everybody, you know. But then like he kind of has a change of heart, and then they fight a giant squid. Eventually, I think the Nautilus he takes it down. He dies with his ship and stuff. But it's a classic Disney film, it's like Jules Verne, isn't it? Kind of like based on Jules Verne novel. But the Nautilus is like this cool, stylized submarine, super advanced for what they thought being advanced would be at the time. So. Great fun. If you haven't seen it, if you're a fan of submarine movies, I would recommend it because it's a classic film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good.
No,
you're not
no,
done.
I want to talk about one more.
One more. Let's hear it.
We got to talk about Subnautica.
I've never seen it. That's why
It's a game. I know.
It's a game.
It's a game. Yeah, I wanted to put this one in there because I just finished playing the first one on stream on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/myhappyself.
Nice.
Nice plug.
And we started the
Nice
sequel.
plug.
So I'm playing the sequel right now. But it's great. It's you basically crash land. It's in the future. And you crash land on a planet that's all water. And so it's exploration, it's survival.
Military culture.
The deeper you go, you have to build like make this thing called like the Sea Moth, which is like a little one-man sub. And then you make this bigger sub called the Cyclops. And you have to go down, like the deeper you go, the more crazy the creatures get. They get bigger. There's like alien technology. It really, for me, like hits all the high points. There's like a great story. There's a mystery to it. There's great exploration. And then it's great just if you just want to chill and like you can build a base, you collect resources, and you can like build a base and build all sorts of cool technology and stuff.
Is it free world?
Open world?
Open world?
Yeah, it's open world, yeah.
Oh,
a lot of fun. Subnautica, just wanted to throw that in there. And
yeah,
playing
good.
the sequel right now. So
Sounds very interesting, actually.
And with that,
let's go with our fan question.
let's do a question, yeah.
Okay. Who's this question from?
This is from Alonzo via Instagram. And the question is, what superstitions do you guys have or have had in the military?
Actually, I can't think of it. I'm sure there's something that I was like...
Any
well,
like habits maybe?
I mean,
Maybe
there
that's a
was
little bit
like,
easier to answer.
I'm thinking about like dudes for the NFL that they don't wash their lucky
Right,
jersey
right.
or,
Those
you know,
superstitious
or like
habits.
in Black Hawk Down, he's like, look at that guy. He's putting his blood type in his boots and he's like, I don't do that, man. That's bad juju.
Yeah, bad juju, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I know when I think about that, I think of like how regimented my setup was before I would go on a mission. Like I would quadruple check my stuff. Like I would go over it and then I would go over it again and then I'd go over it like one more time. And then as I was walking out to get in the vehicle, I'd be like checking my stuff. And there'd be a certain point where I was like, okay, I just have to trust myself. Everything's there. I got it. Cause I tend to forget things. I have unfortunately
Is that
been,
superstition or OCD?
right. Yeah. I that's about as close as I could get to being superstitious, you
I'm
know.
trying to think. Yeah,
It's not like I would turn around 5 times and hit the top door stop before I would leave my leave my room or whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I kind of like at nighttime. I don't think it was a superstition, but like whenever I'd load my magazines at night, I would always load them and then just smack the forward assist a couple times, no matter what. Just because when I was brand new, I would load mags at nighttime and I'd never fully seat them, apparently. And then when I'd go into training and I'd need to pull the trigger, I'd just get a click. So I like got real, but I don't think that's a superstition.
That's
It's
just
more
like
just
getting OCD.
yeah,
That's
OCD thing. I'm trying to think of something where I was
I'm trying
like,
to think
man,
if
that's
I've
like
heard
bad
any
luck.
things, you know.
It's like bad. Oh man.
Well, we had a guy. I mean, this is kind of getting into like story territory, but like we had one guy die on a mission. Dave Texter, cool dude, and then people would get his like
KIA
bracelet, KIA bracelet, and I would see those all around. I never got one because I felt like I didn't know him all that much.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I didn't. It wasn't like a personal. Like I felt like it would be dishonoring to him if I got one, just because everybody else was getting one. It's like, well, I didn't know him, and we didn't have like a personal connection. So I suppose I could have gotten one all the same because he was a Green Beret, he was a fellow soldier, you know, stuff. So I don't know, something like that. But I don't know, superstitions. I wasn't very superstitious.
I wasn't
I'm not
very
superstitious guy.
either. I mean, some people were superstitious, and I'd just be like, that's stupid.
That could be our answer. We don't have to. We're trying really
I
hard.
know we're trying to
come up with
find something, but no,
superstitions.
man, I didn't have any superstitions.
No, I didn't
I
have
had
any.
habits.
Yeah, habits,
Yeah, but no.
practiced movements, but no superstitions. Nothing was
Yeah.
like, I got to wear the same pair of underwear on this mission, otherwise I'll die.
My
kind of thing,
platoon
yeah.
had, it wasn't really superstition. It was like they, right before I got there on deployment, they wrote to it was either a Hustler magazine or it was I don't know, one of those adult magazines. And they had a contest, which was win a pair of this one adult star's panties. So on deployment, they formulated a letter as a fan request and they won. And the fan letter was published in the next issue.
Oh my gosh.
And they received the panties.
Oh my gosh.
And they still have them.
Oh my god. They're like in somebody.
Yeah. So they framed the magazine article that featured. And honestly, it was like you imagine 6 dudes putting their head together to formulate an entry letter. It was golden.
To a porn magazine.
It was just like, we are but noble American soldiers who would want nothing more than to just sniff these before mission. And like it was all published like in the
Oh my
magazine,
gosh.
and they would, ever since they got the panties, those panties have more jumps than I do.
Did they bring
all-
them with them on jumps?
All jumps have the panties. Yeah,
Oh.
that was second squad's thing. And
There you go. There's the superstition.
That's
yeah,
a superstition.
there's the superstition. Always jump the panties.
Always jump with
Okay.
panties.
Well, we hope that answered your question, Alonzo, from Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with that, we have come to the game.
The game.
Time to play the game.
You want to play a game?
Now this game is for you, Cameron.
Me.
Hopefully you will do better than I did on our last game.
I hope
the,
so.
The game that was just me. But sorry, ready? This
I
game
am
is
ready.
called That Sinking Feeling.
That sinking feeling.
You've lost that sinking feeling. Okay, what is it? What is the rules? What is the? Let me
What
get
are
my
the
brain
rules?
back? I'm gonna give you the name of a submarine from pop culture or real life, and you're gonna tell me whether or not that bad boy sank. All right, you're gonna tell me whether or not it sank. Pretty simple. You got a 50-50 shot, right? Super easy.
Yep.
Let's get going. Let's do the warm up. Ready?
Sure.
USS Stingray from down Periscope.
It did not sink.
You sure?
Yes.
You are correct. It did not sink.
Okay, I'm just
Yes, it's a comedy.
50-50,
too.
yeah,
That'd be
it's
kind of
comedy.
weird if they like at the end it sank. That'd be kind of a moving comedy.
that way.
All right, pretty good. You got it. You got the. It's very simple, straightforward. All right, ready? It's U-96 from Das Boot.
U-96. It does not sink.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It sank
It sank.
in the movie and in real life, actually. So you're doubly wrong.
Did everybody die in that movie?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
No, it sank while it was docked.
Oh no,
that's lame.
That's extra depressing.
Still counts.
Still counts. Okay. All right, next one.
All right, ready? Sequest DSV.
The Sequest
4600.
DSV 4600. The Sequest DSV 4600.
That was a show, right? Never saw that show. Sequest.
Oh, that's a show. I thought that was the name of the submarine.
Well, that is the name of the submarine, but the show was also called Sequest DSV or just Sequest.
Is
It
this
had
like a
Roy
sci-fi?
How many
Scheider.
seasons did
Is
that
this
have?
like a
It
sci-fi?
had 2 real seasons. It actually had 3 seasons.
Can I Google what it looks like?
No, because you might accidentally see.
Okay.
It was a weird show. It only had 3 seasons.
Roy Scheider was in it. Wow, Roy Scheider. Wow.
Jonathan Brandis.
I'm going to say then it does not sink.
I remember this show. Okay. You're right. You are correct. It did not
Nice!
sink. It did not sink.
You know, I'm
Yes.
thinking there was this. Do you remember like Dino Planet or something? There was this. Do you know what I'm talking about? No, I have no idea.
No, I'm laughing because that is just a tangent. Do you remember the show that has nothing to do with submarines?
Do you remember Land of the Lost?
I do. Also has nothing to do with submarines.
Okay. Do you remember The Land That Time Forgot?
I do.
There's a submarine in that.
Okay. Fair point. I see what you did there.
All right, next one. Ready?
Sure.
The Red October. Hunt for Red October.
Hunt for Red October. That does sink.
That does sink. You are wrong.
Am I wrong?
It
Red
does not
October
sink.
does
The
not
last scene is them floating into. We
sunset.
talked about
Yeah, I
it.
literally just talked about it.
I'm
with
sorry.
You said you faded at the end.
I faded at the end. I faded right when where Alec Baldwin is holding the gun at the cook.
Oh, okay.
That's where I was just like, okay, I got to do these
All right.
dishes.
We basically, yeah, you're basically done by that point.
Yeah.
They win. All right. This is a real life submarine, the USS Thresher.
Thresher from Oh,
For
it's real life.
Just real life.
Real life. I mean, there's 50-50 shot. I have no idea what that's from, what period. I'm going to say it did not sink.
Wrong. It sank.
Okay.
It did sink.
Just a fun fact about the USS Thresher.
Uh-huh.
It and another submarine sank like in the 70s. And so Dr. Ballard, the guy that found the Titanic, he found the Titanic because he was supposed to be on a fake mission looking for the Titanic. It was a covert mission to try and recover the USS Thresher.
But he accidentally found the
But
Titanic?
he really found the Titanic. They found the Thresher also,
found both.
but he wasn't supposed to be finding the Titanic. It was a cover for finding the Thresher.
No
and then he found the
kidding.
Titanic.
And he
yeah.
actually found the
It was
Titanic.
crazy. There was this whole exhibit at the Reagan Library, but I just thought that was a fun little fact.
That's crazy. Awesome. All right. You should be able to get this one. The Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
The Nautilus. And you just mentioned that he goes down with his ship, and it sinks.
You are correct. It did sink, yes.
Thank you. Give me that.
All right. Let's do from Crimson Tide, the USS Alabama. Sink or not sink?
It does not sink.
You are correct. It does not sink.
It's Dinotopia.
Dinotopia. I remember Dinotopia. That was a book, and then it was a movie series. Or
a
something
movie
like that.
series. That's what I was watching as a kid. That there's a submarine in that one as well.
Yeah.
Is that the one where they put like the... No, that's Dino Riders. Never mind.
No, they
I
ride.
remember Dino
they
Riders.
ride-
That was a cartoon, right?
No, Dinotopia. They ride the pterodactyls.
No,
too.
but Dino Riders is one where like it was these two warring bands of people, and they put they just had like this mental connection with the dinosaurs, so they were friends with the dinosaurs, and the bad guys put like mechanical things to control them.
Yeah.
It was super cool when I was a kid, which means nothing.
I remember the
No
Dino
submarines, though.
Riders.
Yeah, Dinotopia had a submarine in it, and I remember one dude tries to steal it and ends up getting eaten by this giant snake thing. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Sorry, that was when I was young.
To be fair, it had a submarine, so it was worth mentioning.
You're right.
Yeah, it did have a submarine because I remember he's like some dude steals it and then he like sees this giant monster and he's like, oh shit.
All right, last one. Last one of the game.
Sure.
K-19 from K-19, the Widowmaker. We actually
Widowmaker!
didn't talk about this one.
That was my platoon name in basic training.
Widowmaker?
Widowmakers, yeah.
Nice.
It's fucking
Making a
lame.
lot of widows.
Yep. K-19.
K-19 is the name of the sub from the movie. I'll give you a hint. It has Harrison Ford in it. K-19, the Widowmaker.
Also, a true story.
He actually tried.
The movie's called K-19?
Yeah, K-19, the Widowmaker. Because
K-19, the Widowmaker.
It's based on a true story. Harrison Ford, he actually uses a Russian accent in this one.
Does he?
Directed by Catherine Bigelow.
It
Oh, really?
does not sink.
Correct. It did not. Sink.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
What
You know
was
what
the
we
deal
haven't
with
covered?
that? Did something go wrong with it?
It's like one of the first nuclear ballistic subs
Yeah.
that Russia had, and they got attacked or something, and so there was like a radiation leak,
Okay.
and so they had to get all the soldiers off or all the sailors off,
Right.
and the government was like, don't do that, and he did that.
Yeah.
Save all the soldiers' lives. They
We
basically would
never-
have died if he had listened to them.
We
Wasn't it
never mentioned Atlantis,
Atlantis?
the Disney movie.
Oh, the Disney movie.
Atlantis.
That was great.
That
Yeah,
was good. That was
really
a classic
That was
one.
kind of hardcore. It was PG. It was not
Yeah.
like a G-rated movie.
The
Hardcore.
dead.
All right, folks. That is it. That is it for the game.
That is the game.
That is also it for the entire show forever. This is the last episode. Actually, not.
No, it is not the last episode because we got to tell you guys what to do.
Yes.
Or actually, we'll make suggestions because
Well,
telling
we'll
you what to do
suggest.
would be kind of dickish.
We're gonna lose our audience. We
We're
keep
gonna-
ordering
yeah,
our audience.
absolutely.
around,
Well, we have to mention that if you guys want to support the podcast channel or our YouTube channel and to help fund everything, you can go ahead and buy us a coffee. We've had a couple very generous donations so far, and they've
Very
been
appreciated.
paramount
Yep.
in bringing this podcast to your ears. So thank you for everyone's generosity. You can find the links to Buy Me a Coffee on our Instagram or on our YouTube channel. If you guys want to get in contact with us and just ask us those questions, we know we're answering a fan question every episode, and that doesn't mean that we will restrict fan questions to only one per episode. Who knows? We might do an entirely other.
We just want to get them out
We
there.
just
man.
wanna get them
don't
out. We
want
get
you
a
to
lot of
wait
questions.
Like 6 months before we answer your question.
And we love hearing from you guys. We love communicating with you. So send those questions, or if you just want to say what up, send them to pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. That is pcfmpodcast@gmail.com, or on Instagram @pcfmpodcast.
We have a new channel called Shift Fire on YouTube. Great content coming your way.
Yes.
all year long, baby. Go ahead and check it out and subscribe. You can check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/myhappyself. I stream 3 days a week. It's a good time. And yeah.
It is good times. And if you guys want to support my streetwear brand, you can find us on Instagram at KITGOD. That is KitGod Apparel, or on the website kitgodapparel.com. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Cue music.